We want your...
Hi everyone, welcome to the live stream. Welcome to Saturday and this awesome day here in Australia. It's been beautiful weather. Spring's arrived and I'm just slowly turning all of the guests on so we can say hello to all of our guests. Here we go, ready to go full screen on, where is it? There, hey everybody, say hi everyone.
Hello.
Okay, we're just going to test our audio briefly because Inky's only just got in. So Inky, you need to say some words like more than hi.
Want to? Hello, how are you?
Yeah, that's okay. I am hearing it come back through, so it sounds like you might have your phone on or something like that. So if you can address that, it'd be great. Just turn the audio down on anything that's coming through. How's all of our chatties going? Let's just go back and just have a quick look at our chatties. What have we got today? All the usuals. G'day to 888 Berg. Axelsoft's there. How you going, mates? And so far, just the usual crew. That's great. Great start to the stream. Now, I can probably let you guys know that this is going to be pretty big news-wise. Unless you've been sleeping under a rock for the last week, there's been a massive amount of stuff that's come out, and it's not just from one manufacturer, so we're not going to quite give it away just yet. It's been more than one, but it's been pretty busy, and I think the synthesizer community's probably been watching a lot of YouTube. I've watched a fair bit. I have to admit, though, it's been hard to keep up with everything, so I'm going to try my hardest to let you know as briefly and as much as I can about these products. But just a quick sort of, without mentioning any names or anything, guys, just a quick sort of comment from you guys. Maybe start with you, Inky. Have you heard any news, anything come out this week without mentioning any names?
I've heard lots of news, lots and lots of news.
Yep.
How's the feedback?
Feedback's gone now, so you've done it well. Well done. And Darren, how about you?
Yeah, same here. I've heard quite a bit of news. I've missed some as well, so some of the stuff that might come up I might have missed.
Yeah. Well, you never know. I can tell you that I had to collate it down to 9 news items today. So, it could have been a lot bigger, and I just think we'll just probably have to move some of those till next week. And I'm sorry for any of the manufacturers that do watch this on the replay and think to themselves, why didn't he mention my name? Well, you didn't contact me either, so, there you go. And next to me is a big bag of patch cables too, which if anyone's watching the stream might be thinking to themselves, well, what's this stream about? Well, what's the stream's about? Everything sort of to do with music technology, synthesizers, Eurorack, yeah, drum machine sequences, all that sort of samplers, all that sort of stuff. And basically we're all just users of these wonderful pieces of gear. It does have a bit of a hardware theme, I guess, probably more so than anything else, but I think it's probably got a bit of software too. And yeah, I think we'll get straight into it. And I think what I'm going to do is just give you a quick taste of what I'm going to show. So we've got the Eurorack back and there's the Neutron sitting there. And right now it's patchless. So I think what we'll do on my side is we're going to do a patch, and the users who are in the chat are going to tell me what to plug it into. So I think that might be interactive. And we're also going to have Inky and hopefully Darren may have something in store for us a little bit later. So that'll keep it very interesting, hopefully. Anyway, so let's get stuck straight into the usual segments we have on here. And if you're new to watching, please bear with us. We've got a couple of new segments that we run each week, and we'll start it with, hopefully if it's going to work, we'll start it with this one. Roll the stinger. Well, welcome to Funny Side, and this is what I call this segment. Some people might call it Not So Funny Side. Anyway, we'll see how we go. So basically, Funny Side is where I've just sort of scrolled the interwebs over the last week and found some funny memes. And here we go. This one's actually very relevant to this stream. I don't know if you guys can see it, but let's make my screen a bit bigger so I can see it. It says, Roland product developers, we need suggestions on our new boutique, the JU06A. And they're all at the board table. And then one guy says, switchable 60 to 106 modes. Someone says, arpeggiator. And then the guy on the end says, actually, 6-voice polyphony would be good. He gets kicked out the window. Oh, brilliant. So we'll be addressing that one. If you don't get it, we'll be addressing that one later, definitely in this stream, that's for sure. All right, moving right along. Okay, next one. This one, I had to do this one. Did everyone see this one come up there during the week?
No, but that's a good one.
That is brilliant, isn't it? Rick Astley for PM. And if it's got a music theme to it, don't you think? I think it deserves to come in here. It's got a bit of a music theme to it. Yeah, I don't know if someone doesn't get it, tell us in the chat and we'll explain it to you. But I think most people should get that. That's I mean, gosh, that's basically the Rickroll, isn't it? All right, ready for the next one. Boom. This one, actually, I just wanted to share this with you because I liked it. If you're making if you're making a movie, this is the Xils-labs starter pack. You must have no gloves and wear a lab coat when you're touching all the sciencey gear. You must show tubes of colourful liquid. Microscopes are used for everything. Everything. You have to use a microscope for everything. People need to walk around with clipboards. There's always got to be pictures of DNA. And experiments take 5 minutes and always work the first time. Men are mad scientists and women are supermodels. I just thought that was brilliant. And it absolutely has nothing to do with this stream, but I just thought it deserves to come on here, so there you go. Last one, but not least. This one might be a little bit risky today. Rock and roll bands for folks your age. Well, this is not really aimed at my age, but you've got the Grateful We're Not Dead. You've got Earth, Wind and Fibre. You got Fleetwood Crack. Oh, that was a good one. And then there's the Blues Brothers. Oh dear. So there you go. There's the funny side for this week. I do apologise for the last one. It was a little bit risky, but anyway. All right. let's get stuck into
Hey.
what we... Yeah, go.
No, that's relevant because I worry. When I get older, I don't want to be playing bingo. I want to be playing dance music. I'm going to go.
Well, I mean, I'm probably starting to join the Booby Brothers right now, so I don't know what's going on there. But anyway, have to be careful, don't we? We have to start going on diets and stuff. Your metabolism doesn't work so good when you hit the over 40 mark. All right, let's get into the news. I'm just going to hit the stinger. Let's go. Well, welcome to the news, and we're going to try and get through this as painlessly and as quickly as we can. I actually ran out of inputs in this streaming software, so that I think it only lets me do so many inputs, and then I had to create a new one just to get through all these pictures that I'm going to be showing you guys. Now, I've got some videos teed up as well, so we'll get those running. But let's start with this one. This is the first one. By the way, just because I've put this one first, it doesn't necessarily mean this is the best or the worst. It's just, I don't know. It's just kind of how I did it. So, what are we going to do here? We're going to try and get this thing working. Hang on a sec. 1 second. We're going to get the videos working. Wait for my computer's hard drive to... There we go. Now, this is the Roland MC707. So Roland have finally done a new groove box. And by the way, you guys can say oohs and ahs and talk, at the same time. Who noticed this? I mean, you'd have to be pretty much asleep to not notice this. Inky, did you see this one?
Oh, yeah, I've been watching loads of videos on the...
You've been... Yeah, I bet you have. Dearie me. All right, I'm going to definitely get... And Darren, have you seen this one as well? Where we lost?
Yeah. I'd
Darren
mute myself
disappeared.
then.
Okay.
I'm back. Yeah, I've seen this one, yeah.
All right, good. All right, we'll definitely come back to you guys, and I want to get your comments about this. But let's just roll through This is Ranzee's brief description of what this is, and I need to point that way. Actually, I can just headbutt it. Oof, oof. Anyway, I'm having too much fun. 8-track sound sequencer. We'll call it a sound sequencer. I mean, really, it's a tone generator, isn't it? So how else do you describe it? It's got an Ableton style clip launcher, and you can see the little clips in that little OLED display on the right hand side there. It's kind of a sampler. Let's use that term with a lot of loosely. We'll use that term loosely, I think. But resampler would probably be more accurate. And it does have a bit of a looper in it, and let's call it a groove box because that's what Roland's calling it. So it works with, and Darren, you'll like this, it works with the IRA link. So you can plug it into your MX1 mixer, into one of those USB ports, and it'll come through via one of those ports that way, one of the channels. But also with that, with the USB, all of the 8 tracks will come as individual tracks into your computer, whether you do Windows or Mac. You can bring it into your DAW. I'm not even talking properly tonight. You can bring it into your DAW and you will see all the 8 tracks coming that way. Plus the samples can be loaded via SD card, and there's a way to do that. There's a way to muck around with the PCMs on here, and it's got the Roland Supernatural engine in it, so you can muck around with partials. It's a little bit like playing with the editing of the JDXI, JDXA, and there's a lot of depth with this. There's drum machines, there's all the standard this is all digital with all these sounds that are on here, but they're all kind of ACB, it's not really ACB, it's kind of like Roland's next step from ACB, with things like 808, 707s, 909s, CR78s, all those sort of drum machines are in there, and you can access samples of all the famous Roland synths plus a whole bunch of other stuff. Anyway, it's worth diving into, but it's got a price tag of $999 US, and apparently it's available right now. Now, I do have a video teed up for you guys. Now, before I'll get everyone else's opinion, I definitely need to find this and go to this and make this full screen.
Here we go. We go back. Here we go. We go back. Here we go.
That's all I'll probably do. I think. What's that guy's name? David or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty
David
good.
Ireland?
David Ireland, yeah, he's pretty good. I actually watched, well, there was a Sonic State video with him and Nick, and I thought he did a really good job showing off that product, and a few of the others, of course. Anyway, I'm going to pause the news, and we're going to go to you guys, because I know these sort of products are right up your alley, and I just thought we'd get your opinions briefly. Starting with you, Inky, what do you think? We'll do ladies before gentlemen. What did you think of it?
I really like it. I think it's great for performance. Sorry, I've got echo, so it's really strange.
You can just pop one of your headphones off on the side and it will help you.
That's better. Yeah, I really like it for the performance and everything. It's just a bit pricey.
Yep.
Is that the right word?
Yep.
Because what they've done is really good, but you have to look at what you can get for the same amount of money.
Right.
Would I like one? Would I like two? Yeah, but I think the price point's a little bit high.
Yeah. Okay. So you're not seeing the value. That's why you're saying pricey. You're not seeing the value of what they want
I'm
to
saying
want for it.
We know that we could map an Novation XL to an MPC. Right, in England, that's the same price as this device. Now, it's work or knowledge, but if you know that, then you start looking at this and other stuff about that price point, and you start thinking, well, it's only got 8 tracks.
Only 8 tracks. Yep. And that is a definite. That's there's no wiggle room on that. Apparently, they said that it's physically limited to 8, and I believe they are also not really letting us do much on the MIDI side. So external sequencing at the moment is, how on the Octatrack or even the MPC Live, you can use the MIDI side of it, and you can also use the audio side, and it doesn't take either or. Do you know what I mean? You've got both. So whereas with this, if you choose to use this as an external sequencer, you have to mute the internal engine because it's basically it, and you can send it out. But that's really the only thing you've got, which kind of, I think it's kind of a bit of a shame, that part of it. Inky, is there anything else you want to add, or should we get Darren's opinion?
I am excited. I think it's a great performance. But yeah, go to Darren.
Okay. All right, Darren.
Because I want one.
You want one, okay. All right, we'll go back to you and we'll talk about who wants one in a sec. Darren, you got the floor. Why does Darren look like that? Hang on a sec, that's not right.
Yeah,
there we go. There we go, that's better.
I like it. I'm thinking, yes, the price is slightly over the top, but I'm reckoning this will come down in price. I think once it's been out a couple of months, I think the price will drop. There's a lot of sort of live groove boxes or live groove box type of things coming out now, isn't there? And it's the market starts to get flooded by them. I think this price will drop on it. It'll become worth it, because I do like it. I mean, I don't play out live or anything at the moment. I like the Ableton clip style, but you've got the MPC Live, you've got the Deluge, you've got quite a lot. So I'd be holding out on this. I think I would really like one, but I'd hold out on it because I think the price will drop on this. I don't think it'll stay at that price.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think Roland will have to maybe consider doing that because, like you say, there's so much at that price point that if you're looking to spend nearly £1,000, you're going to do research, aren't you? And it's, unless you're specifically playing out live just on this, it's quite a lot of money for a studio device as well.
Yeah, I mean, I quite like it's going to link up to me MX1, which would be great if you had live. You have the MX1, one of these, and then a few other synths or toys is going in. But like you say, until they drop that price, because I think it will come down. I think they've gone in a little bit high for, like you say, with it being only set to eight channels. It's like and there's no way they can do a firmware and change that to get 16, or is it definitely set to 8?
Well, they've taken it on board as a when they had this product out in beta and they had all the, you've noticed that these YouTubers that have, already got their videos up, obviously signed NDAs with Roland. They had all their videos pre-recorded and, bang, yesterday, or whatever it was, the day before, was the release date. So they've had them for a while, from what I've been told. And the feedback from those guys and also, product retailers and that sort of thing has been the flexibility on the 8-track seems to be a bit of a sticking point, but they've taken it on board and we don't know what that means. They might, go further with it. I actually think, let's go back to the view of it. There's one really, really cool thing about this, and it probably is going to appeal to that type of market that will like this sort of stuff. But the clip launching resampling side of it has got the ability to resample, stretch on. So this is now starting to encroach on the Octatrack side of things because it will let you do stretches in real time, which is actually very powerful. And I don't think the MPC can do that. So I think this has actually got, it just needs to be confirmed, but this is what I've been told. Obviously I don't have one in front of me, but this can do stretches on the fly, it'll resample on the fly, and then you've got all that scatter stuff that, everybody who likes the IRA products will love, and that's doing it with your own samples now. So you've got scattering, and the scattering is completely, fully now open to edit. You can go crazy with the scatter thing, and there's videos on it already, so you can go out and check it. And on top of that, each of those 8 tracks has its own effects send, and it's also got master reverb, master delay, and a whole bunch of more master effects. So that's actually pretty good. And the other side of it too is it's taken a little bit of a leaf from the MX1, where it's got a send and return input and output on it. So you can actually send your individual tracks to the send track, and you can then either return it back in, and it can and you can actually map where you want the return. You can decide to return it to one of the physical tracks, or you can decide to return it to the main mix. There's a whole bunch of really, really cool routing features in here too. So I think there's a lot of depth to this, and that side of it's made me excited, but I think there's also some frustrations as well.
I did see David Arden do some clever tricks where he'd got the pads on punts mode, and then he re-recorded that.
Yeah.
So he was playing. That was pretty nifty. I don't know if it does that.
Yeah, it does. It kind of does that clip sort of stuff. It is a kind of Ableton sort of thing, isn't it? It's not like fully Ableton, but it kind of.
No, but he had the effects on pads, and he altering the whole sequence live time and then re-recording it.
Yeah.
So he'd kind of, use several.
That's the resampling side of it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but he performance. It's got like a performance effects on the pads as well. which
Yeah.
was really cool.
So with the let's get the product image up again. So with all the pads across the bottom and all the knobs and everything, there you can actually real time record all of that, like you can with all the other Roland products. But at the same time, what you're saying, Inky, is you can actually you can map them to do sort of
He'd got them doing performance effects,
Yeah.
or altering the pattern, and then re-recorded that. So he was, kind of using effects times 10, and then different sets. I am recording them.
Yeah.
So that was really interesting.
So
that
the
was
performance
something
side
I've
of
not
it,
seen.
yeah, the performance
Yeah.
side of it actually does seem pretty cool. It's definitely got me interested. I agree with you guys. I think the price is probably slightly out there, but this could just be. Don't forget, this is the MSRP price that we're talking about. The street price usually is a little bit cheaper. I've heard that some retailers are going to probably pop it down to about $8.59 or something like that. So that's kind of.
But
Darren, yeah.
I'm seeing this because the more you look at it, the more you think this is great, because you're going to have like your MX1, this on one side, and then you're going to have the TR8S on the other, which is going to be quite a nice package, really, isn't it? Like I say, and if that price comes down towards the TR8S range, then I won't. I probably wouldn't. I might pop out.
Yeah, and I think when you start looking at the MX1, this MC-707, and I mean, you mentioned the TR8S. I mean, some of us have still got TR8s. They might still be okay. Yeah. And the other side of it too is any of the other IRA gear. So the VT vocoders, they can all hook into this as well. So you can actually use the sampling side of this with any of the other stuff that is all interchangeable. And someone was actually talking in one of the, I forget which forum or Facebook or whatever it was saying that you can actually get the MX1 to resample itself through this. So, which is a kind of interesting thing, because they've always thought that the MX1 needed the ability to resample itself because it's got all those cool MFX effects and you can sequence them. So they're all getting excited about this with an MX1 being kind of like a partnership. So there you go. Some people are saying to get two MX1s, have one coming into it, and then that on the other side, and then the other MX1 is your main, output. So there's all sorts of theories going out there. Anyway, we need to move on because we've got a lot more news to get through. But thanks, guys, for your input. That's awesome. I knew this one would obviously give us, a lot of discussion. But actually, we were talking about price, and there is a solution to the price already, and that is that you can just get its baby brother. You can get the MC-101. don't feel left out. I mean, there's a couple of pros with this. So it's pretty much the same thing, but it's 4 tracks, battery powered, 4 AA batteries, and apparently that lasts up to 5 hours, which is pretty good. And it's got a lot of similarities with the big brother, but at the same time, you still got rear connections with MIDI DIN in and out. And it's got an SD card for expansion. So, it doesn't take an input for recording, but you can still clip launch with the SD card. So it's not bad. It's $4.99 MSRP, so it'll be less than that in the street. Let's get a quick. We'll do a real quick one this time, starting with you, Darren. This time, what do you think of that one?
Again, $4.99. It's just there, isn't it? I like it. I like the little thing, but I don't know. I just want it to be a bit cheaper.
Yeah,
especially the little one. I was going to think I did the bigger one.
I agree, because it's something like the circuit. I know it's a bit better, but it's just that little bit too. Yeah, I want it, but I can't justify that much money for it.
So let's have a quick look at it. This thing's tiny. All right, it looks big because I've made
cute.
It's actually tiny. This thing. It's probably literally someone's got the measurements. I'm sure they'll tell us in the chat. But it's literally like the size of, maybe it's a bit bigger than a Volca, but it's not much bigger than a Volca. It's tiny, this thing. So in terms of those people who like to have desk space and they want little tiny modules on their desks, that's right up their alley. And there's a few people saying that this actually might end up being one of those classic Roland things that slips under the radar. You know, these products sometimes end up being favored because of the form, you know, engineers' happy accidents. You know, who knows? We'll see what happens with it anyway. Now, I'm going to quickly go on to the next one because we still have a hell of a lot to get through. The next product that was launched by Roland, hi Roland, is the JU06A, which is, okay, it's a boutique. And you either love them or you hate them, I think. Basically, those who don't know what a boutique is, it's basically a hardware sound module, in this particular case, that emulates digitally a vintage Roland Juno synthesizer. And this particular one emulates two of them because it lets you switch between the Juno 106 and the Juno 60 emulations. Now, why is that important? Because the Juno, the main difference between the Juno 106 and the Juno 60, and Darren, we've got an expert here because you'll tell us in the set, is one of them is actually digitally controlled oscillators and the other one was voltage controlled oscillators. So you had that kind of more drifty, detuning sort of oscillator sound, a bit fatter on the Juno 60. And a lot of people do claim the Juno 60 to be the Juno of the Juno. I think there's 3 different models, not including the alphas and all that stuff. But, okay, so other features this has got, they've added an arpeggiator, they've lost the touch mod controls on the left, you know, those sliding things that are on the other boutiques. Plus they've added an external clock in. And I don't really think there's really much more to talk about this, but I think, and you guys can chime in, I think what Roland have done here is pretty much just re-released the JU06 and just added a few extra bells and whistles because they were selling heaps of them, and I don't think they realised that they were going to sell so well. That's kind of my opinion. What do you guys think?
Yeah, pretty much. I think. I mean, since I've got the Juno 6, it's like, yeah. But if you can't get all of them, or they're too expensive now. So, I mean, I like it. It's quite a nice little unit. Out of all the boutiques, it'd be one, I think. One on the list I'd get if I wanted to, but I don't really need to get that unless if you're going out, say, taking a Juno 6 out on stage, I suppose.
Yeah. And what about you, Inky? What are your thoughts of this little Roland module?
Yeah, I think it's a great little takeout box for on stage or something, isn't it? And the added arpeggiator.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, it's the only one I think about getting.
Okay, that's good. That's good to hear. I'm going to be a little bit different to you guys. I think, and this probably is because I'm an owner of a JU06. I'm an owner of a System 8, and I've got enough Roland emulated Juno synths coming out my ears, basically. You can see them coming out right now. I don't think we need any more, you know. The whole idea they originally brought the boutique out was it was supposed to be a limited edition. They actually sold it based on that. They told the world that these are going to sell out and they're not going to make any more of them. So there was an attraction to people who collect. Not that I'm a collector, but you know, there's people that are angry. No, I'm not. The collection side, but you know, so there's that. But I think the biggest problem that they did with this, and oh my gosh, you know, why couldn't they just make it 6 voices? Why? In this day and age, a Juno, like Darren, you've got one right behind you that was made 30 years ago and it's got 6 voices, and they still couldn't get this thing to have 6 voices. And so to me, that was the biggest, I think, lol moment, I'll call it. So anyway, a little bit negative from me.
Well, you'd have thought with them sort of, well, I suppose it's like an update to the one before is now the A. You thought they would have managed to squeeze the extra 2 voices on top of that, wouldn't you?
You'd think so. And the argument from Roland is because they've put the 2 Juno voices, the 2 Juno ACB engines in it, therefore they weren't able to do 6 voices. You know, so
Yeah, totally good.
yeah, well, you know, remember that meme I showed you before about the white coat wearers, you know, scientists?
Yeah.
They had all like the coloured test tubes, didn't they? Anyway, let's move on to the next one. So the next one is this one, the Roland JupiterX. Now, deep breath. Here is another digital synthesizer from Roland that's dressed to look like an original analog synthesizer from Roland. And Roland are really pleased with this. Let me tell you, they've got their marketing people going gangbusters on this. They're very, very happy with this. They've got... Okay, so just so who doesn't know about this, this is basically... I'm going to help anyone here who thinks that this is going to take over the System 8. Watch this space for in a second. I'll give you a really, really cool thing to know that you're in safe hands with that. It features a new engine called the Zen Core. Right, now here's the cool thing. They're really happy about the Zen Core. They love it. They think it's awesome. They think it's awesome because it doesn't take up as much processing power as what the ACB engine does. Right? Now that means... yeah?
Exactly, go on.
Well, that means that they can spill more polyphony into this. And this thing apparently can do up to 256, you know, notes of polyphony, which is crazy, right? In certain, I'm sure there's certain areas which it won't, but what it means is this synthesizer is not a ACB synth. It's not actually emulating like the System 8, the Juno or the Jupiter or the SH, whatever, you know. It's not emulating the physical circuit modeling. This is just literally the Supernatural Synth Engine version 2. So they've improved on the Supernatural Synth Engine, and here it is. Okay, how they've done it, I'm sure it'll come out in the wash, but let's talk about some of the good things. Hopefully Axel will find a little bit of happiness out of what I just told him. The synth lets you use up to 5 parts. It's got 4 synths and 1 drum. And you're able to load things like Jupiters and JX8Ps and Juno 106s and SH101s, as well as drums. It's got vintage XV 5080s and RD pianos in there. It's got PCM samples all the way from the 1080. That'll be good for you, Darren, with the 1080 stuff from your XP50 there. They're in there. Plus it's got drum engines 808, 909, CR78, etc. Plus it's got a new ARP, which I love because I love ARPs. And Roland are probably one of the best ARP manufacturers in the world. This thing's called an I arpeggiator, which takes player-created notes and it uses them to develop cyclic rhythms. Now, I'm not going to show you how to do this because I haven't got one, but there's videos out there already. Now, this is where it beats the System 8, and only where it beats the System 8. It's got aftertouch on its 61-note keyboard. However, they will claim... this one we're gonna have the cynic laughs here. Roland claim that this synth will be expandable. All right, so let's just hold on to that lovely thought right there, and let's just talk about Roland and their claims that their synths are going to be expandable. And we'll start with the V synth. How's that going with Roland right now? Is that still being expanded? The V synth?
Oh, very much so.
And Axel, is the System 8 being expanded right now? You're saying in chat it's not. So this is where we're getting a few people in social media going nuts at the moment.
This is my problem, right? Certain people, like Near and Roland, tend to sell you a product and never update it, really.
Yep.
And now I've started to look at that. When you're paying £1,000 for stuff, you want to know, are you going to make it better, or is this it?
Well, this one is $2,499 MSRP US. So this is technically a flagship. All right?
And also, they're playing on the Jupiter name, aren't they? Because basically, it's not even the Jupiter. They might as well have called it the Roland Zen.
Well, let's have a look at it. I mean, it's got aluminium sides like the Jupiter did. I know my System 8's got aluminium sides, but I had to actually pay for those. They were extra. This comes with it. Look at the colour and the styling of it, and the actual shape of it.
They're making it look like a Jupiter.
But it looks exactly like one.
But they should just call it the Zen because they're just using the name Jupiter because everyone will go, Jupiter, I've got to get one of them.
Yeah.
Whatever it does.
It's got a Jupiter in it, but it's not a real Jupiter.
It's a System 8.
it's a PCM Jupiter. Well, look, arguably the System 8, if you know anything about electronics, the System 8 is actually kind of like FPGAs, but not really because they're DSP chips, but FPGAs inside like Roland have got a custom chip. But what they've actually done is they've gone, right, let's have a look at the actual analog circuit of a Jupiter and let's model that digitally, and then we can then play with it. And then it worked beautifully, and that's what ACB is, and it actually does work. And the reason why they're not sort of keen on putting ACB in this is because it's hard for them to get polyphony out of ACB because it just takes extreme processes. And if you guys have got Roland Cloud subscriptions, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. When you pull down one of those Roland Cloud ACB synths, like a Jupiter or a Juno, and you start pushing the polyphony on that thing, you watch your CPU go crazy. It's like anything over about 8, it starts getting above 50%. And I've got this computer that I'm using here right now is one of the highest Core i7 processors by Intel. So it's not to do with how bad Roland program, it's basically because the technology is very, very processor intensive. That's because they've modeled analog electronics. It makes sense, right? Whereas with this thing is a digital synth. Okay, let's get everyone really unhappy. It's a Rompler. Right? Let's get everyone unhappy. It's a Rompler. It sounds beautiful. Don't get me wrong. I like the sound of it. I'm probably not going to buy one, but it's actually a Rompler, because really all it's doing is just emulating digitally sounds that it's got pre-recorded in some way. And I'm sure there'll be people that will shoot me down for that. But anyway, I'm a big boy. I can handle it. All right, let's move on to the next one. Okay. Well, it's the baby version of it. It's like the MC-707, and they brought out the MC-101. So Roland must think that people in the world have, they need to pity them or something. Let's make a big one and let's make a little one. I don't get this at all. The people that own JDXIs don't get it. The people that hate mini-size keys don't get it. Yeah, but for people that likes smaller desktops, do get it. People that want battery-powered synths get it. So there's pluses and minuses. But basically what this is a cut-down version of the one I just showed you. It's got 37 slim keys, and it's got less controls, obviously. And it's battery-powered if you want it to be. But here's the clincher. It is $14.99 US dollars. You guys were talking about prices before, right?
Darren just laughed.
That one has to be the biggest laugh. They're taking the piss. They are. Surely. $14.99.
They're not going to sell.
That's going to have to go down in price, Darren. What do you think?
To be honest, even if it went down in price, I don't think I'd want a cut down small version of the Zen. I'm going to call it the Zen. I'm not calling it the Jupiter.
He's refusing.
Yeah. No, they're going. I don't know which planet they were living on when they thought, I know, let's put it up 1.5 virtually. Nah, they must be off the trolley.
They're off the trolley. What do you think, Inky?
I think somebody at Roland needs to stop looking or get outside the Roland building into the real world.
Through the window.
Other musical. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're playing off a name, but actually they're doing harm to their name. Does that make any sense?
It definitely does. And I think, sorry, I was going to go to that one. I think Inky, I think what you're saying is that they're just rehashing stuff that they've already invented in a different format and trying to get everyone excited about it and adding a few tiny little bits of innovation. Let's not call it massive innovation. Let's call it tiny bits of innovation. Don't you agree? And then they're sort of like, how many different ways can we make a product and make it look different and sell it again?
Well, I'm sorry,
Even
but
that
up to now, it's only the MC-707 that I think's worth. Up to now, the others have just been like, we'll just cash in as much as we can.
Yeah, so the 707 aside, yeah.
I'm going to ruin a moment because I'm going to say, even the MC-707 is kind of like the TR-8S, and they've thought, well, we've done this, we can add stuff onto it, and then put 400 quid on the price. Do you know what I'm saying?
I see what you did there. That was pretty clever. There's been a few people saying that. Absolutely. I think the TR-8S and this, it was the next obvious stage for them, wasn't it?
And they could have put a D-beam on it.
A D-beam. Big shout out to Andrew Brooks, who's joined the chat, and I hope I haven't missed anyone else that's joined because I've been busy with the news. Sorry, this news is going to take forever. We'll probably be here until next week with the news. Anyway, let's keep going with it. I'm sorry. I apologise. Dearie me. Okay, where are we up to?
I'm sure they've got loads of D-beams.
Yeah, that's the thing. We could put... what was the last thing that I had that had D-beam on it? I think it was the Gaia. The Gaia or the Gaia, whatever you call it. That synth had D-beam on it. Inky, what did you...
I bought the MC-505.
Oh, yeah, the 505.
Yeah, and spent 3 hours playing the piano with the D-beam. I loved it.
Hey, the 505, it was classic. I think it was a proper classic groove box.
Yeah, I've still got a 505. It's brilliant. Yeah.
I sold mine to help fund the force, unfortunately, and my 307.
There you go. All right, let's move on to the next one. Hopefully, we might be able to venture out of Roland. Are we going to venture out of Roland? Yes! We're outside of Roland now. By the way, I actually did have some videos lined up for the Roland stuff, but I think I might just skip them because you guys can watch them. How about this one? Has anyone seen this one? This is called the Argon 8, and this is actually made in, I believe, in England by Modal Electronics. And it's an 8-voice digital synth, but this is a digital wavetable synth, and it boasts 64 oscillators, 4 per voice. Yeah.
Yeah.
More than the Rolands.
Hey, but this is what you're going to like about this. Now, this is TBA, so this is not 100% locked down, but we've been told that it's going to be $6.99 US.
Really?
Yep.
Because we couldn't find the price.
So that's TBA, but the rumor is $6.99 US. Someone might be able to confirm or deny that, maybe hopefully in the chat or maybe in the comments below when they watch this on the replay. But this has got 120 wavetables. 120 wavetables. And you can reshape every single one of those. Do I have a video?
Your own?
Say again?
Can you add your own wavetables?
I believe so. Where are we? There we go. Yep. I believe so. So let's just bring up, what have I got here? I can turn off the boutique. We didn't need to see that. I had videos for the JupiterX as well. Actually, no, I don't have a video for this one. Sorry. I do have a video for the next one. Anyway, moving right along. We can come back to this if we want to talk about this a bit more, but I just want to get through the news because I've still got more. This one. Now this is by a company called ASM Sound Machines, or ASM. I don't know if I've pronounced that right, and I apologise if I have. It's another digital synth. This one is an 8-voice, 3-oscillator, wave morphing engine, and it uses any of the 219 single cyclic waveforms available with polyphonic aftertouch. And you can see across about where my finger is there, but pointing the other way, is a ribbon controller, and the polyphonic aftertouch and ribbon controller, they openly admit, was definitely influenced by the playability of the CS80 from Yamaha. So they've kind of modeled the way the polyphonic aftertouch and the ribbon controller works, which by the way are configurable. There's some really, really nice videos on this. I've got one that they've published, which is, I think, just their marketing one. Let's just have a quick look at this. We'll get this happening. Let's give these guys a bit of a run.
Welcome to Hydrasynth. I'm Glenn Darcy, Director of Product Development for Ashton Sound Machines, or ASM for short. This new synth is the brainchild of myself, Product Manager Dominic.
Now, I don't know why that's doubling up. Is that doubling up for you guys too?
No, it's fine, but the box above it, is that a...
I just thought I'd stop it there because there is a desktop version. There's a keyboard version.
Yes, now that's what I'm...
And a desktop version, and that has got me very excited.
But I really wish they'd put the ribbon strip on the desktop.
On the desktop.
one.
Oh, yes. Good point, Inky.
Yeah.
Good point.
I really want this. But
Okay.
I'm like, well,
Well, let's just have a quick pause for a sec. The price for the desktop is $9.99 MSRP, so that'll probably be a little bit less by the time you get to haggle your local music store. Haggle them a bit, and then the keyboard version is $15.99 US. So that's not bad. That's not bad. That's definitely
$7.99.
Well, let's compare that. The digital synth. Okay, yeah, I know it doesn't do 256 voices of polyphony, but that Roland synth isn't a wavetable shaping synth either. And what's the X price? $2,400. So it's $1,000 more. $900 more US. So there you go. There's some difference in price for you. It wasn't. Okay, so it wasn't. Let's see if we've got some more here. Let's just see if we can get this going.
I love that.
There you go. So that, yeah, pity it wasn't on the desktop version. I think that almost, maybe they need to have a quick rethink about it. I don't know. It might be too late. But there you go. That's the ASM Hydrasynth. Hydra. Wonder why they're named Hydra. Maybe after a sci-fi movie, maybe. The actual, I don't know if you guys noticed, on the opposite side, which way do I need to point? That way. On the opposite side, like far on the other side, notice that it's got a CS1X or SQ80 style control, where you've got kind of like all of these little buttons, and they're all mapped out, and you can see little lines joining them, right? And if you click on one of those buttons, the screen goes straight to whatever that is on the button. So it's very similar to the way the Ensoniq synths were made back in the day. So they've taken a little, I think they've taken a bit of design benefits out of some of those synths. So CS80, Ensoniq, and we can't argue, they were some pretty decent synths at the time. And then I've obviously now made it so that you can do wavetable shaping, which is massive. All right, what else can we do? Are we at the end of my first part of news? I am. Okay, so the second part of news is going to be here. And I can't remember if I did this or not. News. Okay, so there's two more news things coming up. Okay, so let's just, without me just showing it, I'm just going to go straight to the videos. Makes it easier. Bang. First one is from Korg, and it's called the NT-1. All right, yeah, we get it. Let's show the product. Come on, show the product. There, that'll do. All right, so that's the Korg NT-1, and it's a, what would you call that, guys? A handmade type synth, but you don't have to do any soldering. Have you guys seen that?
I seen it. I didn't actually know what it was. I just seen it come up, so I haven't got a clue what it was.
Okay, so
But,
what it is, it's I can tell you a little bit. It's called the Nu-Tekt, or NU with a colon and then TEKT, Nu-Tekt product range that Korg are releasing, which is a digital kit. It's apparently it's DIY, but there's no soldering. You've got a little tool that you use to put things together. So it's kind of along the lines of Little Bits. You remember how Korg did that Little Bits stuff a little while back? And basically it's a digital synth. It packs multi effects into it in a compact form factor. So basically it's like a little tiny, this thing is tiny, it's like that. It's one of those tiny little things. Probably, let's call it a pocket operator competitor. Would you guys agree? That's kind of heading down that pocket operator path with a bit of a monotribe feel, a bit of a Volca feel. So not without stepping on anyone's toes. Let's see what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Quick play. Now you can actually go into this thing and, you know, there's an interface that you can use through your computer with this, and you can do some stuff in programming it. But these things are getting a lot of interest from people. So whoever's in the world of, you know, geeky electronics and computers, and they love their synths, I reckon this thing's going to be something that people will definitely like. All right, let's go to the last one. And
Plus, I'll be able to put that in the studio.
yeah, well, you can fit it. You'd be able to sneak it in your pocket anyway. The last one, I've just given it away. We've got another controller from Arturia. There it is there, the Micro Lab. Now, just without going into any more detail other than saying to people, this is a MIDI controller, it's USB, and it's $89 US. There you go. It's tiny though. It's a bit smaller than a key step, if you're wondering. It does take a bit of its design from the key step, doesn't it? Let's have a quick look at it again. There you go. Does that excite anybody?
I suppose it's portable, and if it's built like the key step, and that's a decent little keyboard, isn't it? So
yeah. So I mean, like, what is it? 75 quid, $89 US. It's probably even cheaper that. That's like if you just want something to sort of squeeze on that tiny little bit of desk that you've got left, that might be pretty good for you. So I'm going to wipe the sweat off my brow from all of that news, guys. Holy crap! There was more, but I had to stop somewhere. That was intense. All right, now where are we up to? We are going to definitely need to go to the next segment. We're definitely going to come back and talk a bit more about that stuff. But let's roll the next segment. Go. The world's longest stinger. Come on, Stinger, finish. Hey, there we go. Okay, so what did I find on eBay? Well, I didn't find it. Someone else found it. But anyway, let them take the credit. An Oberheim OBMX 12-voice synth for, wait for it, $10,000 US. And doesn't look like they want to ship it to Australia. I can't get it, guys. What's going on? $10,000 US.
Well.
You can get the store with it. I love it. I love some of these people that are taking liberties on eBay. Hey, it's amazing. All right, I've got one more. Isn't it cool how I'm finding more than one each week? Ready, set, bing! If you want a Motu 828 Mark III hybrid 28 in and 30 out Firewire USB 2 audio MIDI interface, you too can get it for $1,767.35 plus, wait for it, $200 and something postage. Geez, what are they going to post it in? Gold wrapped box or something? That's like nearly $2,000 just for an interface. And Darren is about to show me something. Let's go to Darren.
No.
No?
Well, yeah. All I was going to say is, if the people actually buying this, because I wonder how much I'll get from a little sampler. How much can I get for that then?
10,000 easily 10,000. What do you reckon,
Yeah.
Inky?
It's battery
Defo,
operated.
and we'll all go out.
Well, this seems legit, doesn't it? I mean, the thing that's this one is not as bad as the Oberheim, by the way. The Oberheim one, they're just playing on the fact that it's rare, and that kind of annoys me a little bit. But this one you can buy brand new for probably about $500, I think, if I remember rightly. So that's a bit rich. So that's where I get them from. I'm trying to.
So bad, isn't it?
It's terrible. It's terrible. Oh my god! I've finished all the segments, and it's been an hour. Thanks, News.
Darren's looking around the studio, what he can sell to buy a new house.
I think we should all start doing it.
I've got a Volca.
I'm gonna sell my Volca for 10,000 US. It's rare.
Yeah.
It's analog. It's a Korg vintage synth. Anyway,
Well, I've never used this since I got it a long time ago. I don't even know what samples I've got stored on it. And I was just thinking, if I batch it, I can run it into the Eurorack. So it just dawned on me now all this time.
all right. Well, speaking of Eurorack, don't forget we're going to have a little play, hopefully in a couple of minutes, and we'll definitely check out Eurorack. Inky, have you got anything? I know you sent me something. Have you got it all prepared, or do you want me to?
I have.
Wow. Okay, guys. We are going. Let's get off of Darren's face just for a minute because I'm talking.
Right,
We have got something in store for you guys. Okay, so what we're going to do. This is for anyone watching in the chat room. Sorry that we haven't actually been paying attention to you guys down below because of all that ridiculous amount of news. But hey, let's look on the bright side. The news has been pretty awesome. I have to admit, it's kept us all busy and excited. Okay, so what we're going to do is. I'm going to have a patch, and you guys in chat are going to tell me what to patch. So that's what I'm going to do. But our wonderful guests, Darren and Inky, have got some patches that they want to show you. And I guess we're going to have a look at... Who do you want to go? Who wants to go first? Whoever says me first, I'll go to. Nobody said it. Come on,
I'll go
scared.
first because Darren's will be better. So I'll go first. I'm going to play it dry.
Not necessarily because I wasn't expecting it.
All right, so Inky's going to go first.
Right, I'll play it dry, and then I'll play some effects. But I can't talk because I have to switch off the channel.
Okay. Everyone is waiting with anticipation. Yay, everyone clap. If all the chatties could clap, yay, that was awesome. What would you call that, Inky? What would, if you were to give that patch a name, what would it be? You need a glow. Andrew's saying he needs a glow stick. Banging. Techno.
Yeah, techno, mono
techno.
rave.
Mono rave?
Yeah.
It was very very kind of lasery, wasn't it? Like lasers firing. You know, it had a bit of that sort of sci-fi sort of feel to it, didn't it?
Yeah, really. So.
It's not being sequenced by anything. It's just
Yeah.
doing it itself.
All right, so
So
tell
that's
us.
why I like it.
Okay, so do you want the people in the chat to guess how you've done your patch, or do you want to just tell us? What do you think would be? Should we give him a couple of seconds?
No more than me.
Okay, so for those guys who are playing along at home, okay, it is a Behringer Neutron that she's done the patch on, and you could probably even, if you've got a Behringer Neutron, you could probably even work out where she's got her patch cables there. I can definitely see, oh geez, a bit of, is a shape and VCF happening? Maybe, I don't know. Let's see if anyone in the chat can work it out. And then we'll get Inky to tell us what she's done. Darren, while we're doing that, you can get yours ready, mate. A D square wave LFO to filter and pitch. Andrew's saying. Sorry, square wave LFO to filter and pitch. Inky? Andrew's saying square wave LFO to filter and pitch. That's his guess.
Kind of. It's not using the filter.
Okay, it's not using the filter. Wow. All right. I think it's using one of the shape inputs, and it's definitely got some modulation happening on the oscillators. So I think it's something to do with modulating the oscillators by maybe one of the envelopes. Would that be a guess? Good guess?
Yeah, you're close. You're close. You're very close.
All right, that's just using my ears and knowing a little bit about the Neutron, of course, as well. All right, you can tell us. I think we're all desperate to know now.
I've got the oscillator mix into the VCA.
Yep.
The LFO into the gate.
Oh, wow, yes.
Right. And then I've got the LFO going back into the oscillators.
Yeah.
And the oscillators into the envelopes.
Oh, okay, so you're oscillating the envelopes. Wow. So
I didn't know what I was doing.
So your envelopes are looping?
I suppose so. I don't really know. It's all being controlled by the LFO.
Brilliant. Well,
Yeah.
I enjoyed that, and I actually think I just want you guys to know in Chatland that we have actually gone to a lot of trouble during the week to come up with these patches. So, you know, I hope you enjoy them. Inky, that was awesome. Darren's shaking his head. Darren, you didn't. I reckon you went to more trouble than I did. Do you want me to show you my patch again? There's my patch.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you went to more trouble than me.
No, my patch was done within 5 minutes before I came on because I forgot all about doing modular patch.
I love it. All right, let's give Darren the floor.
So I stuck, let's have a look, 3 cables basically. I just pulled out 3 cables, and it's randomly going. But that's a dry signal, so then we'll start mopping in some delay.
Ooh.
More delay. And do 3 delays in series.
Right.
How about some reverb?
I just got goosebumps.
And now he's tweaking, guys. Watch out. He's twiddling knobs. Way! Oh, I like it. Oh, he's ended with a nice fade out. That's nice. Beautiful. Now I'm gonna guess, Darren. I reckon that's got. Has it got a ring mod happening in it, or is it something, because it's sounding quite metallic? So maybe it might be an FM related thing. There's definitely something metallic about it, right? Would you agree, Inky?
Yes.
Okay, so he said it's FM, so that's good. We're on the right track here. Okay.
You've got some FM, yeah.
I actually can't see those modules. I do. You've told us what those modules are, but we haven't memorized them.
Right. Well, I'll tell you. It's what's given us the randomness is marbles from Mutable Instruments, which is here.
Yeah.
And that's controlling plats. And it's actually been modulated by tides, which is just a dry signal. So it's just a random. It's a sort of a step sequence, but it's just random.
So that's just triggering.
And then it goes into triple delays.
Yeah.
In series, though.
What are your triple delays? Are they through a mixing desk, or are they up there in your Eurorack modules?
No, they're from guitar pedals.
Oh, okay. And what delay pedals are you using?
Right, so we're going from a flashback triple delay in series.
TC Electronic?
Yeah. And then into a Strymon Big Sky.
Oh, wow. Beautiful.
I think the Nimbus setting as well, if you're interested.
Okay. Good.
The reverb. And that was basically it. So it's just how basic it can be, but it makes a big difference when you start putting delays and reverbs on things.
Well, they say that, don't they? Whenever you put a delay or reverb, it changes the sound of anything. Beautiful. Oh, I really much appreciate that. I think that's actually amazing. So,
but if I'd known I was going to do a patch, I would have come up with something more melodic, because I just whacked marbles on to see what I'd come up with.
We might be able to do a segment for patch of the week. I don't know. We could definitely look at it. Something we can talk about off air though. And it does require a little bit of effort, doesn't it, Inky? Bit of effort during the week.
Well, I cheated. I made this a couple of months ago, and then tweaked a knob and couldn't get the sound back, and photographed it. So then I just tried it again, and it worked. And now I know a little more what I'm actually doing.
Okay.
So yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, because you don't have any patch memory on the Neutron and on Eurorack, unless you get one of those new CV patch things that they've just recently launched, which seem awesome, by the way. Yeah, photographs are the best way to remember how we patch stuff. Do we have time to look at mine and have a play? Let me just show you what I've got so far. So it's just basically this sound.
Such a nice sound.
What we love about the Neutron is the fact that it's got those oscillators. What do they call them? 3340s. They're the same in the SH-101, aren't they? And a few other synths. Now that's so that is no patch really at all in terms of patching, modulation type patching. But what it is, there is a bit of effects going through the magneto, so that's why it's sounding a little bit more separated. So that's like a tape delay, the magneto. But it does sound very detuned, okay? And that's why we're getting that sort of thickness from it. It actually probably sounded less detuned when I turned it first on, so it's probably even worse now. And I've just got the mix slightly to the left, so that means that oscillator 1 is getting more. If I move it to the middle, you'll hear. So it just backs off a bit. Now what I've got is, this is very typical of Ranz. He does this all the time. He likes to use a sawtooth and a square. That's why it sounds almost kind of stringy, doesn't it? And then you've got modulation depth on the filter, envelope depth as well. And all of that is without patching anything. So, I mean, you can achieve that in any synthesizer. Okay, so, guys in chat, it does sound a bit like a Prophet, yeah. And 888 Berg's saying. Prophets kind of have a real brassy sound about them. Alright, so, I've got some patch cables here. what would you like me to do? We've got, I don't know if you can see the labels here, but we can go from any of these outputs to any of these inputs. We can try sample and hold, we can try anything you want. You just let us know, and while we're waiting for the guys and chatties to let us know, we will continue to talk about the amazing amount of news that we've had this week. So, what's your favourite product? Starting with you, Inky, that came out this week.
The Modal.
A Modal?
Modal synth.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish I had a video on that. I've been looking. There's lots of website stuff on it, like specs, but I want to actually hear it. So I'm sure there is. I just didn't get a time to find it. So why the Modal? What attracted you to that? Let's get a picture of that up while we're waiting.
Well, I heard the Hydrasynth, and I like that.
Yep.
But then I heard the Modal, and it's slightly less metallic.
Slightly less metallic, yeah.
So I kind of like it.
So there's the Modal again. What do you think of the design of it? Do you like the look of it?
I like it. Yeah, I quite like it.
It doesn't have the modern pitch wheel down the left-hand side. It's actually quite compact, apparently, too. So it's not a big thing.
It's got a joystick, hasn't it?
What is it? 4 octaves. So what's that? 1, 2, 3 octaves. Sorry. So it'd probably be 37 keys, I guess. Yeah, it's got a little joystick. Yeah. All right. So Inky's saying the Modal. Now, Darren, your pick. You can choose one.
Well, I was. It's the Modal.
Oh, I got 2 votes for the Modal.
I think it's a lot of really nice synth, and if you can put your own wavetables into it, then yeah, and the price as well. I mean, it's not ridiculous, is it?
If it stays at that $6.99 figure, I think that would be pretty cool. But we don't
it'll be a bit lower.
We don't actually know.
Yeah, it's £550 apparently.
Yeah, so that's about right. 550 to 600 and something. Yeah,
that will be on my to get list, I think.
Now, as you
me too.
know, we weren't able to I didn't want this to turn into the Roland show, because Roland actually did announce a couple more products, and I'm not going to go into them. So there were some other products that they announced, and I don't even know if I want to announce them next week. So I'm kind of exhausted. I believe that there's some other stuff that missed out this week. Definitely some other stuff that missed out this week that we need to get back into it. All right, so Michael from chat has said, let's get the chat guys up a bit bigger so we can see it. Michael has said the Phantom is for him, and Triple Eight Berg's saying the Hydrasynth.
Desktop I'd go.
Yeah.
I really like that desktop. I just wish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one's voted.
It's a close thing between the Hydra desktop and the Modal.
Yeah. Yep. I'm just thinking, no one really, and I think who said that in the chat? I think Axel said no one voted for the Roland Phantom. We didn't show it, so you can't really vote for that. But yeah, Modal for Axel, Hydra for Triple Eight Berg. Yeah, for me, probably Hydra. Yep. And I'll just give you a reason. I like to say things and then back it up with a reason. I like the fact that there's this morphing engine in it. Now, it's easy to say, because the Korg Minilog XD's got morphing in it, but the fact that this thing has a really good way of wave morphing, that's probably the key. And I absolutely love the way Ensoniq synthesizers work with that layout. When you press a button, it comes up on the screen whatever you're doing. And it's kind of, I know you can do that on the DeepMind and things like that. It's kind of similar to that, but it's actually like those buttons are laid out logically. So you're kind of working, it's like a workflow. So you're going to hit a button and then the one next to it, you're going to hit next. You know, it's kind of, it makes sense. And then your OLED displays show up what you're doing. And I think the fact that it just, they openly admit that they think the way they designed the CS80 with the polyphonic aftertouch and the ribbon controller, you know, there's not a lot of synths that have done that since. I know there's a couple, but nothing really properly. And this one looks like it's been done well. So that's my pick. The Korg, yeah, Axelsoft saying the Korg could be interesting with the little, what do you call it? The NTS1 by Nu-Tekt kit thing, and you can program it. So if you're into programming, that could be your thing. No one's come up with an idea for a patch yet. So just remind you, you guys in chat, you can't be lazy. You know, we've gone to the hard work of, especially Inky and Darren, they've gone to the hard work of actually doing a patch. You know, you guys have, it's your job now. Look, you've got a Neutron sitting in front of your screen right now. Tell me what to put into it.
I think you just do it randomly. Just not even think what you're doing and see, because it's got in and out. You can't go wrong.
Yeah. Let's
just stick as many as you can in. But not think about it logically.
All right, let's sample and hold our.
To off one at Axel says.
Oh, filter or oscillator or filter?
Oscillator.
Axel says.
All right, yeah. Oscillator it is.
Hey.
In a science lab.
That's, I have to admit, that sample and hold circuit in this synth is incredibly nice, like musically, and it's just randomization from a noise generator. But it's so cool to play with, like, and you can glide with it. Hear it glide now. Creamy. Bleep! The universe is sinking. Okay, sample and hold oscillator one is what Axel wanted as well, so it looks like we've done the right thing. Let's take it out of... Actually, no. Let's not, because we have got the tip-top cables in there. Let's take it from sample and hold here, and let's go into VCF. Let's see what it's going to do now. Oh, it's probably going to go too fast. No, it's too fast. Oh, we failed.
What about LFO into VCF?
Okay, let's do...
or VCA.
Where is it? There we go. Okay.
Into VCA, maybe?
Let's do that.
Yeah.
All right, where's that LFO gone? Yeah, I don't know if I'd use that for anything. But anyway, you guys did a patch over YouTube. How's that? Has that ever been done before? Probably. But let's pretend it has never been done before. With groundbreaking...
Worldwide patching.
Yeah. Patches from all over the world. Air raid, go to the shelters. Universe is now rising. Yeah. Okay, so this is a good question from 888 Berg. What is my modular philosophy? That's a pretty deep question. What do you think, guys? Let me have a crack at it because he's asking me first, but I think you guys can also answer that. Now I know, Inky, you can't escape this because you've got modular gear there already. All right, your Neutron is modular, so you're already there. All right. I know you want to escape right now, but you're going to have to answer this question. Okay, my modular philosophy has always been I'm going to be using it as a toolbox. So when you look at the stuff that I've got, which hasn't changed for a couple of months, only because I'm broke and I need to sell gear, but basically the modules that I've got are tools. There's an effects tool here, there's a sampley sort of effecty sort of tool there, and the Neutron, even though I love the synth side of it, I actually bought it just for this part here originally, but I've actually now fallen more in love with the synth side of it. So yeah, and all of these things on the synth can be mapped out into something else. So I'm planning on putting some other things along here. I don't know yet what they're going to be, but toolbox is kind of the way I'm going to do with it. The reason for it is because I can take input into this and then take it out, and then I can sample it in my MPC Live and things like that. So that's my philosophy. Who wants to go next? Inky?
I've got a different philosophy.
Yeah.
Is I bought a Neutron, so I wouldn't have to think about any of this. Because I know if I start down that road, I'll never stop buying it.
Mm-hmm.
And
is that a bad thing?
I can't. Yeah, because I love the Neutron, and I've loved what we've just done and the patching. But I would spend so much time doing that actually make any music.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool, but I can just see that would be the road I'd go down and then remember, hold on, aren't I supposed to be making some tracks?
Mm-hmm.
It appeals to me on a geeky level, and I could see me getting really into it, but I can't. I'm not allowed.
Yeah. But yeah, you know, here's a thing. You could be spending money on worse things. That's my philosophy in terms of spending money. You could be spending money on worse things. If you want to flip that over, you could not. You could not spend money at all, and you'd have nothing to enjoy. You could look at it that way as well.
I'm saving up for another project, right? Let's say, if that doesn't work out, there will be a great big modular rack here. Yeah, which will appear pretty fast. I'll just ask Ken to send me one.
How about we say it like this? Say it's I don't know what the other project is, and you don't have to tell us. But let's say there's another project called Inky's Music, and that goes really well. And the money starts rolling in from Inky's Music. Then perhaps modular. No problem. Any money I make through music will be spent on music. Yeah.
I'll live on baked beans and do you know what I mean? Well, you're a rack.
Yes, live on handouts. Okay, so what is Darren? What is Busk in the local mall? What's Darren's philosophy on Eurorack? We've already talked about this, but we'll do it again.
Mine would probably be it's a toolbox, but it's an addictive toolbox because originally I was only going to get probably a one unit maybe to go with my Erebus, which is the top. And
this is what I'm saying.
He was going to originally get one, guys.
Yeah, don't buy a case because if the case comes, that's it.
Well, that's it. You know one. Anyway. But you know one row is not going to be enough. You do know that. and then
Well, what?
yeah, you're going for a box like that.
Well,
That'll be expensive.
I mean, if you guys are new to the stream and you haven't heard Darren's channel on YouTube, there's a link in the description below. When I finish the roundup of this stream, you'll see it. I can't do it right now, but go check out his channel. His name's written below him there, so you'll be able to Google that anyway. He's put some Eurorack stuff up, and it's actually pretty good. So don't let him talk it down. He's actually working it out, and I think he's doing well with it. And the whole point of it, I think, Darren, is that you've discovered that sound design is actually a cool thing. So your stuff is sounding original, and that's a cool thing in my book. So well done on that, mate. And also, same with you, Inky.
Yeah.
That patch you did before, Inky, was awesome. So
Thanks. I have no idea what I was doing, so thank you. And I quite like it. That's why I like it. If I bought into it, I'd have to start understanding it properly, and I think it would take out the fun.
yeah.
Well,
Maybe.
I think the thing with modular is you can spend hours on it, because if I start playing with this, I'll spend hours and I'll never get any tracks done. But you can make an absolute hash of noise and it sounds really awful. But then you plug a few cables into without even knowing what you're doing, and you can get some beautiful sounds, and it hooks you. And it's like trying to find that next great sound.
So are we saying even the experts don't really know what they're doing?
I bet some of them don't. I'm not an expert. I mean, I don't know. I've only started learning it, so I can just go up there now and just plug loads of cables in, see what comes out, put a bit of delay and reverb on, and you go, that is amazing. Sample that down, and it's in the track.
Yeah, I think a lot of it comes down to terminology too. See, a lot of this stuff, like even on here, right, you'll see this word here, and it's hard to see because of the light. I'll just make a shadow. See the word attenuators, right? Now, I don't know why, and also VCA is another. When you get into Eurorack, you'll start to realize that VCAs aren't quite the same as VCAs on a typical synth, non-Eurorack synth. They are, but they're not. There's a twist. And the word attenuators. So basically, what all an attenuator is really, and I'm going to get shot down if I get this wrong, because I'm only new at this, right? But basically, an attenuator is basically a resistor, and if you apply this attenuator to something, like if I just did it basic to the filter, for example, all I'm doing is I'm just adding more resistance over that electrical connection, which is like turning your filter off. So that's a very basic thing, but that's what attenuators do. So they are kind of, in a way, they're the opposite of VCAs, and VCAs are amplifiers. So there you go. You start to work out what all this lingo means, and I think it does help. And it's good to watch videos on YouTube, because there's guys out there that will explain it. Now, for me, things like understanding how envelopes work, I've had for years. I've had an understanding on how it works for years. But now that you've got things like looping envelopes, and what would be really cool with this Neutron is if there was some sort of visual, LCD screen here that I could actually see my envelope as a diagram. And for me, I kind of need that, because I'm at that stage. That's why I like things like the Minilog, because it has those sort of visual feedbacks. But yeah, I think that at the beginner level, understanding the terminology, working out what things actually do, helps. You don't have to know everything. I think you just need to know the basics, and and I think you can't go wrong from there. Now, there's a couple of things that were mentioned in the chat which I thought were interesting. Is why do enclosures cost so much? The answer is they do and they don't. So, and Darren and I have talked about this before on the stream. So this enclosure here is pricey because it's actually a modular. It's a system that Arturia have invented that they want you to buy a mini brute and hook into this. But it actually is cheaper than some of the other enclosures as well. So you could say this isn't that expensive, but if you compare it to a do-it-yourself DIY What's that brand that we were talking about, Darren, the other day? Pittsburgh, wasn't it?
Yeah, Pittsburgh Modular.
The do-it-yourself Pittsburgh. So when you get a Pittsburgh one as a DIY, it actually works out to be cheaper than if you were to go and buy all the wood from a hardware store and try and, you know, saw it and glue it and drill it and all that sort of stuff. When you get them, you get these power rails, and it's not going to be the same as this Arturia one here. You get these power rails. You will get and obviously the wood sides, and you'll get these tracks. See these? It's just the Eurorack format here, which is a whole bunch of little nuts, like, you know, all sort of welded together, and they're a certain distance apart. So that's Eurorack, right? And you get that with the Pittsburgh kit. I think it's 80 quid, you know, $100 US. It's not much. So I don't think that's expensive. And if that's gives you a thing to start to put your gear in, you know, that's, to me, that's a good thing. Like, I needed something to put my Neutron in and my Magneto in, so I got the Arturia rack root. I'm not saying this is the, you know, the best solution, but if you are on a budget, those Pittsburgh ones are excellent. So yeah, I think we probably. What do you guys think? I think we've probably done with all the topics on the stream tonight.
Always check the manuals before you plug your unit in.
Oh yeah, that's actually a really good point. There's actually a video on it I recently watched. These power modules here, they're supposed to be a standard, right? But they're not. And so far I've been lucky that these have worked with the cables, and they plug into there and they seem to work. But I've heard horror stories of people plugging their cables into these power rails, and because the voltage has been reversed, or the pinouts have been reversed, they've smoked whatever module on it, because not everyone is conforming to the same...
The red
stripe rule. So you can have the red stripe top left or the red stripe bottom right or something, isn't it?
Well, the red stripe's usually on the bottom, or should be, on the -12. But I know Doper just seem to randomly put theirs anywhere. So if you... I can't remember what module it was, but I've got a Doper clock divide up there, which doesn't tell you... on the actual module at the back, it doesn't tell you where the red stripe is or the -12 is. So you can get confused on that. And I know one of the units, it's the opposite way around. So you plug it in on the red stripe on your modular, but when it goes into the module itself, it's the wrong way around and it'll cook. So yeah, just you've got to check the manual. And never listen to someone saying you put where to put it, because if they're wrong, you've got no module.
Yeah, and then you ended up having to buy it again. Yes, so there you go. We definitely can do more. I think we could definitely do more Eurorack on this channel. But I think I'd actually like next week, and tell me if you guys are happy to do this. I reckon we should start looking a little bit more at sampling. And I think we should, because this is up Inky's alley. She likes the sampling and she likes clip launching and stuff like that. So we should probably have a little look at sampling. And you know, I've started a couple of weeks ago when I was showing different samplers, and I didn't really go into a lot of detail about those particular samplers. It was just really just show and tell. These are samplers. What do you want to choose? But yeah, Darren can bring out his little yammy. Bring out the little yammy.
That's my sampler, hardware sampler, because I'm not picking up the S3000 XLs, the Akais, the way a ton.
Well, you don't need to physically show them, but I think we could definitely you know, use, like, you guys, we can all hear what you guys have got connected through your systems there, so you know, you can explain it with your voice. We don't need to have all sorts of cameras and stuff.
Do a lot of sampling as well.
Yeah.
I'd like that, because I've been looking at an excuse to sample a track and chop it up.
Yep.
You know, I've never done that.
Yeah.
So and then put a beat to it. You know, old school chopping on the MPC?
Well, it's actually good fun to do that, and we can definitely show it. And I think maybe Darren, if you're keen too, we could also have a look at your synth that we were talking about last week.
The Raven.
The Raven, yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
So I reckon a lot of people would be keen to hear that, because it's not a common one. It's definitely not a common one.
No. Yeah, I'll set that up.
So we'll get Darren with his Raven and his Yamaha. So there you go. So there's two cool things, or maybe we could split that up into 2 different weeks, whatever. And then Inky and I will do some slicing and dicing. We'll get the chopping board out, Inky, and the big cook's knife. That'd be a good album cover, wouldn't it? Chopping board and a cook's knife for a techno album. You've heard it here first. All right, and guys in the chat, we haven't been paying you much love today. I do apologise. We've definitely been keeping an eye on the chat, and haven't had any major sort of questions. So that's all right. But you guys, don't forget, you guys can. There's a couple of things you guys can do. You guys can definitely interact with us while we're doing the stream, and we definitely are keeping an eye on it, so don't forget that. But also you can also be a guest on this channel if you want, just like Inky and Darren are. You can put your hand up to do that. Don't be scared, it's good fun. Just ask those guys. They're not nervous anymore. Look at them, they're like professionals now. So we can do that. And also you can also suggest a topic if you want. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep, I'm going to keep suggesting them. And I think I'm going to run out of ideas soon. So, other people need to jump in. So, definitely suggest topic. Try and suggest something that we can easily do. Whether it's a bit of gear that you guys know that I've got, or Darren, or Inky. We definitely can try it. And then I'm definitely not going to be putting any of those guys on the spot. They need to agree to it as well. So we need to be. What's the word? We need to be polite about what we're going to ask. So now the last thing before we finish for the day is you guys might remember I've had some dramas with the stream and software and Windows, and I'm not going to go into it. But where it stands now is I am using the software called vMix, and I did talk about it briefly last stream or the stream before. Now these guys that write vMix, they're pretty decent fellas. They're based in Australia. So I'm just going to bring you up to the website. You can hear me talking, and I'm just going to show you the website. Now, so basically, this is the product that I'm using to stream, and I'm happy to share this with everyone. There's no secrets to this. Okay, yeah, I found it, but doesn't mean I designed it or anything. Now, for me to get this, where are we? Purchase. I just want to show you guys something. I've got to get this version here, the 4K version, and I'll tell you why. Look at the price, $700 US, and the reason why I need that version is because it gives me all the features, ticks all down, and it gives me the ability to have 2 callers. And these are the 2 callers that you're looking at right there. So now that price that I'm looking at buying, it's once off. It's not like, God, imagine if it was $700 US a year. That'd be killer. I don't think they'd have any customers. It's once off.
Darren,
yeah, go ahead.
Darren, he's making me feel guilty. I think we have to send him cash.
Not making you feel goody. I'm just letting you know what I'm up against, and so yeah, don't know how I'm going to pay for that. But we
should rent a spot per week. I'll come on. I'll give you a tenner.
It's going to take a long time getting one. If I did the Patreon thing, imagine the Patreon. I'll be like $1 per person. It'll take a century.
If you can
I'm not
sell
worth
stuff
more
for
than a tenner.
10,000. If you can sell stuff for 10,000 on eBay.
Yeah, I think we should start. Definitely, I think we should start selling stuff as scams on eBay. Tell us in the chat if you think that we should do that. and just pretend that you never heard it here. Ah, dear. But yeah, so the reason why I've decided that I'm definitely going to continue going with this is because the software itself has been rock solid. It's been stable. The guys that Inky and Darren have been using just their Google Chrome browsers. Is that right, guys? You've just been using your browsers to connect up, and it's really simple, isn't it?
Yeah.
Dead simple.
Yeah.
So for them, it's something easy. They don't have to tech support Skype or anything like that. It's so much easier, and you can see the stream is beautiful. Now the other benefit too with the 4K is I can actually start streaming out at 4K as well, which will please some of you. Some of you won't care, but this monitor that I'm looking at right here is a 4K monitor. So I think people are starting to get keen on 4K. Now there's a rumor that I've heard. Someone will tell me if this is true or not. But if you stream at 4K on YouTube, the audio also increases the bit rate of the audio. So that's actually something to be pretty interested in for our world, because at the moment the audio on a HD channel is probably around about 320 kilobits per second, which is like an MP3, like the highest quality MP3 you can get. So yeah, there's some info. I know you can muck around with this stuff and you can get it changed, but 4K the stuff definitely improves. And yeah, someone's got I Will Create. How you going? He's got a VR1 HD. I guess that's one of those Roland streaming controllers. So yeah, cool. Definitely cool. Axel said he's going to look into some stuff. So Axel, look into some stuff. We're cool for you. Inky, what was you saying?
Does that mean he's coming on? Does that mean he's coming on to the show?
I'd like him to come on. Axel, you coming onto the show, mate? Join us.
I'll have a week off and I can get in the chat room.
He says he's doing it. Okay. All right.
Hey!
We'll do it. Well, I can actually add at the moment. I can add more than 2 callers until obviously this particular trial runs out that I'm running, and at the end of that, it'll go down to 2. But I've been told by a really good, well-known person called Nick Batt that that you can actually run vMix on multiple computers. And you can have the same license, so you can just have a two caller license, and you can have the other calls coming through on another computer, and then you can pipe them into the main one through other methods. So there's ways around. I don't have to go and buy the $1,200 one. There's ways around it. So Axel said he's doing it, but then he's got a ... once I've got my studio sorted. That might never be, mate. You may never get your studio sorted. Andrew's saying he'd love to come on, but he's got no idea how it works. Basically, mate, all you need is a camera, which has got a microphone in it, and basically an iPad has got it, a phone has got it. You can use your Android or your iPhone or an iPad or an Android tablet or your laptop. And it doesn't require anything special, does it, guys? We can just have very, very basic. It's not Skype. It's just you just use your Google Chrome browser, and it'll do everything through there. And it's pretty cool. You can do other things apart from look at the stream. But yeah. But anyway, you guys can contact me if you want, if you're interested in going on the stream. There's an email address in my channel, and it's on the About page of my channel. You can access that through there. You can also find me on my socials, which I generally use. I don't even know if I've actually got my socials on here anymore, do I? I used to have them below me, didn't I? I think I've lost them since I did the cross from... Yeah. So my socials I'll put in the description below in the video. It's probably on there now. In the description of the video down below is all my socials, so you can reach out to me with that. And on that note, I want everyone to thank Darren and Inky for joining us this week. Thank you, guys. It was much appreciated that you were able to give us your time. Just know that none of us are getting paid for this. Thanks, Roland. And Jeez, I tell you what.
Well, we didn't give them the best of the ratings, did we? So
We were honest.
No.
We were honest, you know?
And I think it's important to be. If you get on and say everything's great, then it's not true, is it? You're not helping people. They're just going to stop listening to you.
Just before we go to...
It's like...
Yeah, go, Darren.
It's like demo. Everyone sees a really nice demo of a synth or some music gear, and it's like, oh yeah, I get it. And then a lot of the time, people buy them and then never use them because they can't make it like the demo was.
Yeah, I think one of the I must have been a bit mean to one of the YouTubers that has done a review on one of these Roland products, and I said basically I loved your video. It was awesome. It was very professional, probably better than I could ever do. And but one thing that was really missing from all of these videos is their opinion. You know, at the end of the day, these people get these products for free and they get to review them, but they don't give their personal opinion. They're too scared because they don't want to miss out on getting the next one.
I am going to stick up for Nick Batt.
Yeah.
Because he just went to David Ireland and in the event and videoed it all.
Yeah.
I've noticed he views things he doesn't like.
Yeah.
If he doesn't feel he can say something positive about it, even if it's negative as well, he won't review it. He'll just do like a live article on like the MC-707.
Yeah.
Which, because everybody else is like, buy this, it's great, and it does all this.
Well, it's like...
Pop's quite good though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's just like, factual.
It's like I'd say I'm not that I'm going to do a review on the BeatStep Pro, but to give you an opinion, personally, I don't get on with it. It's just not quite what I was expecting it to be.
Yeah.
That's not saying it's a bad product because it's a good product, but personally, I don't get on with the BeatStep. And I went out and bought it thinking, yeah, I really like this. I looked at the demos and thought, oh yeah, modular, it's great. But it just doesn't work for me. I just don't, it doesn't work how I want it to.
And unfortunately, you can't take it back to the shop after you've used it.
Well, that's true. But I can sell it as a scammer on eBay.
£1,500.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I mean, I think, you know, I have always tried to maintain the sort of the standard view that everything that I show on this channel has been an opinion from my personal use as being an owner of the item. And sometimes I buy things and I'm not happy with them, and I'll tell people I'm not scared. You know, why would I be scared to tell people if I don't like something? And just like Darren, you know, he was saying his thoughts on the beat set. I probably agree with him actually. You know, so I'm actually pretty bad when it comes to anything USB powered at the moment. Like I just think a lot of those boutique products, they sound really noisy and terrible when you're using USB power, especially if you're powering it off your USB port on your computer, which you shouldn't do, but people do. So, you know, there's all sorts of things that we could talk about, and these companies shouldn't be ignoring this stuff. They should be fixing those things. It's, you know, it's just electronics design. They can improve their circuits, and we wouldn't have half of these problems. So I think bad reviews are definitely necessary. I will create, has said, and I agree with him. And I think as long as they're constructive, as long as we're not just bashing someone for the sake of bashing them. What do you reckon, guys? As long as they're constructive.
Yeah, because if you can't all give a good review on everything, because otherwise everything's perfect. You would, you know, just buy anything. There's nothing's ever perfect. There's always something. But as long as you're giving an honest review and your personal opinion, then the person watching it or the viewer watching it can make their mind up as to whether they think your opinion's valid or not, rather than just say, this is a great sim, this does this. You've got basically almost telling you to go and buy one, which you then go and do and then find out that it's not even half as good as you thought. Yeah.
Inky's camera always looks like she's got some disco going on in the background. It's
like,
always flickering.
It's because if I get the lighting right, then the sun's moving around the building and I've got windows either side.
Yeah.
So then I've got the light here, and I have to move it, like, because we're on here for like quite a few hours.
Yeah.
I have to keep moving it, like, kind of to go with the sun.
Well, you just do what I do, just put these lights on. You know.
I've got one down here.
I should have moved that before, actually. That's the one there is actually pointing down at the neutron, and I've got another one just up here that's reflecting off the wall. So I've just pointed a light at the wall, because if you pointed it directly at me, it'll be all really bright, right? But if you've pointed at the wall's usually white, and the light bounces back. So if I turn that light off, where are we? See that? It's a little bit of ambient light. If I turn this one off, that's the light just coming from the wall, and it's perfect. And I'm using lights that I test with my cameras, because some lights give a 60 hertz frequency and you'll see flickering. So don't buy lights that give a 60 hertz frequency, because most cameras will work on 60 hertz. So there you go. There's a little trick for you. So there's a few recommendations in chat about who does good reviews. I don't know if I agree with some of those. I definitely.
Then leave it there.
I think we'll just leave it there. But I know that I probably couldn't do a good review anyway. So there we go. So on that note, as I tried to say before, thanks everyone for being part of this stream, and I appreciate your time and effort. And big thank you to Darren. Thanks very much, Darren, for joining us, and also Inky. Massive big thanks for you joining us. I know you guys have to stand there and put up with me, so I do apologise for that. And next week we'll have some more fun. So see you all later. Catch you later, everyone. Waving goodbye.
Bye. Bye.
Hitting the streaming button. Bye, stream.